tonight. We saw she was given a special security escort to Court 6 last night. There were thousands of Filipinos who tried to get a glimpse of the star on Court 6. Hundreds didn't manage to get in. They were, in fact, quite rowdy at times, told to be...
Alex Eala, the Filipino tennis sensation, has just been invited back to Australia by the Australian president himself for a special exhibition match in Melbourne. And let me tell you, this isn't just another tennis event. This is a statement. A massive statement about respect, popularity, and the power of the people. But here's where it gets absolutely wild. While Eala is receiving presidential honors and government security escorts, Aryna Sabalenka, the current #1 ranked player in the world, is reportedly fuming about being left out in the cold. So buckle up, because what's unfolding in the tennis world right now is nothing short of extraordinary, and it all started with thousands of heartbroken fans locked outside a stadium. Let's rewind to the Australian Open, where something truly remarkable happened. When Alex Eala arrived in Australia to compete, the response was absolutely insane. We're talking thousands upon thousands of Filipino fans descending on Melbourne, creating scenes that the city had rarely witnessed before. Picture this. Masses of people waving Philippine flags, chanting Eala's name at the top of their lungs, and generating an atmosphere so electric that even seasoned tennis commentators were left speechless. This wasn't your typical Grand Slam crowd. This was a movement. This was a nation rallying behind their hero on foreign soil. But here's where the fairy tale hit a major roadblock. The stadium was packed to absolute capacity, and despite all that love and passion, thousands of devoted Eala fans were left stranded outside. These weren't casual spectators, mind you. These were people who had traveled from all corners of the world.
We saw the record broken for the first Tuesday, set at about 58,000 back in 2020. That has now been broken today, set at about 61,000. So as you can see, just another ripper start to the Australian
world, spending their hard-earned money and precious time, all for the chance to see their national tennis hero compete on one of the biggest stages in the sport. And they couldn't get in. Can you imagine the heartbreak? Can you imagine standing outside, hearing the roars from inside the stadium, knowing your favorite player is right there but you can't witness it? That's exactly what happened, and it set the stage for what would become one of the most controversial decisions in recent tennis history. Fast forward to today, and the Australian president has done something unprecedented. Fully aware of the chaos and disappointment that unfolded during the Australian Open, and completely understanding just how massive Alex Eala's popularity has become, he made a personal decision to intervene. This wasn't the WTA making a call. This wasn't tournament organizers trying to capitalize on a rising star. No, this was the president of an entire country stepping in and saying, you know what? The people deserve better. Alex Eala deserves better. So he personally invited her back to Australia for an exhibition match before her next tournament, giving those heartbroken fans another chance to see their idol in action. Think about the weight of that decision for a second. A national leader using his position to ensure a tennis player gets the platform she deserves. When was the last time you saw something like that happen in sports? This is the kind of intervention that speaks volumes about Eala's impact, not just as an athlete, but as a cultural phenomenon. The president essentially looked at the situation and decided that making thousands of people happy, celebrating a rising star, and showing proper respect to someone who's earned it through genuine fan connection was worth his direct involvement. And guess what happened when the exhibition match was announced? History repeated itself in the most spectacular way. Once again, thousands of Eala fans marched through the streets of Melbourne. The energy was absolutely electric. The excitement was palpable. You could feel it radiating through every corner of the city. But despite the best efforts to accommodate everyone, despite this being a specially organized event with presidential backing, the stadium was packed to the brim once more. And yes, you guessed it, thousands of fans still had to remain outside. Let that sink in for a moment. Even with a custom event designed specifically to give more people access, the demand to see Alex Eala play was so massive that it still overwhelmed the venue's capacity. That's not just popularity. That's
got a lot of global stardom to her. She's had some incredible results and she's beaten players like Madison Keys and Iga Swiatek, so she's the real deal, already top 50 in the world.
Phenomenon-level stardom. Now, because of the enormous crowds, security became a major concern. The Australian authorities weren't taking any chances. For safety reasons, Eala was given a full government security escort to the stadium. Picture a tennis player receiving the kind of protection usually reserved for visiting dignitaries or major political figures. That's the level we're talking about here. And when she finally stepped onto that court, she absolutely delivered. The crowd went absolutely wild. The atmosphere was nothing short of incredible. Alex Eala gave everyone exactly what they came to see. Brilliant tennis paired with that infectious smile that has captured hearts all around the world. She didn't just play a match. She created an experience, a moment that those fans will remember for the rest of their lives. But here's where the story takes a dramatic turn, and honestly, this is where things get really interesting and frankly a bit controversial. Aryna Sabalenka, the current #1 ranked player in the WTA, is reportedly not happy about any of this. And you know what? From her perspective, you can kind of understand why. Here's the president of Australia organizing a special exhibition match for Alex Eala, rolling out the red carpet, providing presidential honors and government security, while Sabalenka, despite being the top-ranked player in the entire world, hasn't received anything close to this kind of treatment. Imagine being the best in your sport, holding that #1 ranking that you work your entire life to achieve, and watching someone ranked 40th get presidential-level recognition. The optics alone have to sting.
Like that happened. I mean, it's you could argue that it was, maybe a poor schedule, and maybe they could schedule them on a bigger court. Yes, but again, she's Alex Eala. That's been a talk, and which is understandable. There's some players coming from respective countries, like she's coming from Philippines, which is now a big deal. She's been the biggest ever, tennis player from that country, which is a big country.
Now, let's be absolutely clear about something before we go any further. Aryna Sabalenka is an incredible tennis player. She's not #1 by accident or luck. She earned that ranking through relentless hard work, unwavering dedication, and consistently outstanding performances on the court. She has absolutely earned every ounce of respect and recognition that comes with being the world's top-ranked female tennis player. Nobody should take that away from her or diminish her achievements. But what's happening with Alex Eala exists on a different plane entirely. This isn't about rankings. This isn't about who's technically better on paper. This is about something deeper, something more profound. This is about connection. This is about the love and passion that fans have for a player who represents their hopes, their dreams, and their national pride. And here's a reality check that might shock some people. Alex Eala isn't even in the top 10. In fact, she's currently ranked 40th on the WTA chart. Now, to be fair, that's actually 9 spots better than where she was during the Australian Open, so she's clearly making progress. But 40th in the world isn't exactly elite territory in the traditional sense. Yet rankings don't tell the whole story, do they? What makes Alex Eala genuinely special, what sets her apart from almost every other player on tour, is the incredible bond she has with her fans. The Filipino community, which is massive and incredibly passionate about their national heroes, has embraced Eala in a way that transcends sports. She's not just a tennis player to them. She's a symbol. She's proof that Filipinos can compete and excel on the world stage. She's carrying an entire nation's dreams on her shoulders. And you know what's truly remarkable about all of this? Alex Eala is handling the pressure and attention with absolute grace and humility. She's not letting the fame go to her head. She's not getting arrogant or entitled. Instead, she's expressed nothing but genuine gratitude for the overwhelming amount of love she receives everywhere she goes. She understands that this journey isn't just about her individual success. She gets it. She knows she's carrying the hopes of an entire nation, of millions of Filipinos scattered around the world who see in her something special, something worth celebrating. That kind of self-awareness and humility at such a young age is honestly pretty rare. So, what really triggered this presidential intervention? Well, it turns out that Novak Djokovic, one of the greatest tennis players of all time, publicly called out the WTA for their handling of Alex Eala during the Australian Open. According to Djokovic, the WTA made a massive mistake by scheduling Eala to play on small courts despite her enormous popularity and the literal thousands of fans who came specifically to watch her play. In Djokovic's own words, Alex Eala is the greatest tennis player the Philippines has ever produced, and she deserves all the respect in the world. But the WTA, according to Novak, wasn't giving her that respect. They weren't treating her fairly. They were essentially ignoring the reality of her fan appeal and treating her like just another mid-ranked player. Djokovic went even further with his criticism, suggesting that this mismanagement might have actually contributed to her first-round exit from the Australian Open. Think about what he's arguing here. He's saying that the environment in which a player competes matters enormously. The size of the court, the atmosphere, the energy from the crowd, the lighting, the surface conditions, all of these factors play into a player's performance, especially in high-pressure situations like a Grand Slam tournament. When you put a player who draws thousands of fans onto a small court where most of those fans can't even get in to support her, you're not setting her up for success. You're actually putting her at a disadvantage. And coming from someone like Djokovic, who's been in every conceivable high-pressure situation in tennis, that criticism carries serious weight. The impact of Djokovic's words was immediate. His criticism clearly resonated throughout the tennis community. It got people talking. It got people questioning why the WTA would handle one of their most popular players this way. And apparently, it got the Australian president's attention as well. Looking at the discontent among Eala's fans after the Australian Open, seeing thousands of disappointed people who had traveled from all over the world just to watch their hero play, the president decided to take matters into his own hands. He brought Eala back to Australia, organized this special exhibition match, and made absolutely sure she had the proper platform to play for her fans the way she truly deserves. But here's the thing that's really remarkable and honestly a bit mind-blowing. Even with a specially organized event, even with presidential backing, even with every effort made to accommodate as many people as possible, the stadium still couldn't fit all of Eala's fans. Thousands were still left outside. This tells you everything you need to know about how quickly her popularity is rising. We're talking about a level of fan devotion that's genuinely rare in tennis, the kind that transcends rankings and tournament results. This is the kind of popularity that turns players into global icons. This is the kind of connection that makes someone more than just an athlete. Alex Eala is becoming a symbol, a representative of Filipino pride and excellence on the world stage. And that's something that simply can't be measured by WTA rankings alone. Since the Australian Open, Eala hasn't been resting on her laurels either. She's been working incredibly hard, improving her game and climbing the rankings. Moving from outside the top 50 to 41st is significant progress, especially in a sport as competitive as professional tennis. It shows that she's not just popular. She's also developing into a genuinely strong competitor on the WTA Tour. The girl's got game to back up the hype. What this whole situation really highlights is a fundamental disconnect between how the WTA views player management and what the fans actually want. The WTA operates on a strict system of rankings and seedings, which makes perfect sense from a purely competitive standpoint. But when you have a player who draws crowds like Alex Eala does, when you have someone who can fill stadiums and create the kind of excitement that benefits the entire sport, maybe there needs to be some flexibility in how these players are treated. The Australian president clearly understands this. He saw an opportunity to make thousands of people happy, to celebrate a rising star, and to show respect to a player who has earned it through her genuine connection with fans. The fact that Aryna Sabalenka might be unhappy about this is understandable from her perspective, but it also kind of misses the point. This isn't about diminishing Sabalenka's achievements. Nobody's trying to take away from what she's accomplished. This is about recognizing that tennis is ultimately a sport for the fans. And when the fans speak this loudly, when they show up in these kinds of numbers, when they create this kind of energy and passion, it's absolutely worth listening to them. Alex Eala's journey is honestly just beginning. She's 40th in the world and climbing. She has the kind of fan support that most players can only dream of. She has legends like Novak Djokovic advocating for her fair treatment. The future looks incredibly bright. The Australian president's decision to host her back in Melbourne is more than just a nice gesture or a feel-good story. It's a recognition that something genuinely special is happening here. It's an acknowledgement that Alex Eala deserves to be celebrated not just for her current ranking, but for what she represents and what she's rapidly becoming. This is a new chapter in tennis, one where popularity, connection, and cultural significance matter just as much as rankings. And Alex Eala is writing that chapter with every single match she plays. Whether the WTA likes it or not, whether it makes top-ranked players uncomfortable or not, the people have spoken. And they've chosen their hero.